Well, hey everybody, and welcome back to my Oklahoma 4X ride along series. So, the whole topic of this video is I want to try to explain to you guys how I'm going to play in this series. Because if you don't know, if you're new to my channel, I've been playing Farming Simulator since 2011. In the year 2011, I that's the first time I saw Farming Simulator 2011. I immediately bought it, and I've been playing it ever since. I've played every installment since then, and I'm looking forward to FS22 when it comes out in a month or so. So that's kind of my history. I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to know how many thousands of hours I've sat in front of a computer and farmed um, in Farming Simulator. It would probably be depressing. So I don't even want to. I don't even want to think about it. But anyways, if it's an addiction, it's a healthier addiction. I still do get plenty of exercise. So, um, but anyways, let me get back on track. Um, So I'm going to explain in this video how I'm going to play the game, because even though Farming Simulator is a simulator, it is still not real enough for me. I am involved. I'm not a farmer, but I am personally involved in agriculture, and I drive tractors in real life. I drive combines in real life. I cut soybeans. I drive grain cart, plant wheat, sow wheat. We call it sowing wheat. Big air drills. Um, S690 combines, S780 combines, big stuff. Um, and I do that in real life, and I also see how poorly Farming Simulator represents the actual economics of farming. And I know it's a game, and when it's a game, everybody wants to feel good and be happy, and oh, look at all this money I'm making, and look at my big giant 90-foot planter, and I've got millions of dollars in the bank and all this stuff. I know it's a game, and everybody wants to feel good when they're playing a game. However, there are certain aspects of the game, the vanilla game, the stock game is what I call it a lot of times, in Farming Simulator. And it's not just FS19; they've all been this way. But FS19, believe it or not, I mean, if you've never played some of the older games, go back and before you complain about FS19 graphics or whatever, go back and play some of the first ones, and then come back to this one, and it's like, this is amazing. Where was I? Yeah, so there's certain aspects about the simulator, FS19 in particular here, um, that are just not. It's not difficult enough for me. Like, it's just not, and it's not realistic enough. I see things, and when things happen, I'm just like, no, I shouldn't make that much money. No, this is nowhere close to real, and I just can't. My brain can't handle it. I can't, even if I have all this new stuff and I'm driving around, in a Rolls Royce and I'm a farmer. I just, it doesn't feel right to me. So I have to manually make the game harder for me to enjoy playing it. And I know I'm not the only one. I know there are some of you out there that know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go through the main menu behind the escape button, and I'm going to show you kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the let me start here with the map. It's all the way on the left, so it's a good place to start. We'll work left to right. Um, this is the Oklahoma 4X map, and this is the first. I've never played it before. Like, I downloaded it like 2 days ago, two maybe 3 days ago. When I started trying to decide what map I wanted to use for this series, I started looking around at some of the 4X maps, some of the bigger maps, and this one, a lot of people had good things to say about it, so I downloaded it, I checked it out, I'm like, yeah, so it's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna like it. There's already a few things that I've seen that I'm kind of like, that's not great. and I'm gonna have to figure out a workaround for that. But but it's gonna be good. It's very detailed. The author put in a ton of work, and I'm excited about playing it. I got to be honest with you. One thing I did notice when I was setting things up, my background story for my character in this series is if you didn't watch the last episode, go back to the last episode, which was the first episode, and that will pretty much explain the background story for this series, because all my stuff has a story behind it, because I like to make believe. Okay, but so what my character is starting with is field 32, 33, 34, and 35. And this area here where my little blinking character icon is at, that's the farmyard. So one of the very first things that I noticed whenever I went to purchase this land is that when you go to lands, well, you can select different fields, but sometimes the fields are, sometimes they're separate. 21 and 20 are separate, but then you look at 22 and 23 and they're the same, which is fine. That's okay. I mean, that's cool. But then there's some instances like this up here. You get 28, 27, 29, and 30, and 31 all together, but yet this little square here, like, you don't get that with the rest of this, and this little thing over, this little part over here, you don't get that. This up here, you don't get that. And then more in particular, what affected me right off the bat is I felt like, to start with, I wanted a little bit more land. These fields are not very big. When you start looking at cultivated area. So at first I started, I said, give me the smallest, simplest, kind of most rundown, rickety farmyard, and that's what I want to start with. And that was this one over here. And this field 32 came along with it, and I thought, well, 33 is right next to it. It's like it belongs with it. So give me 33 too, and that's what I'll start with. And then I got to thinking, really, to keep this from being just such a ridiculous grind, and then when I realized how big 32 and 33 were, or how small they were, actually, I'm thinking to myself, I really need some more acres to really get started with this, or it's not even going to make sense. So I said, okay, do I want to go up here and try to get some extra land, or when I come down here and get some extra land? And when I went into the game and actually looked at how these parcels are laid out, it made more sense to say, okay, give me 34 and 35, and I'll start with, these two fields, the barnyard, and these down here. But the problem with that is that the area between 32 and 33 and 34 and 35 was this area in here. Well, to me, it makes sense that, this area here where the meadows are, that should have went along with 34 and 35. I mean, that's, generally speaking, in the United States, when you have pasture land and when you're in rural areas, that's kind of how it would work. Unless there was like a house over here or something and that got broken out a long time ago. To me, this area, this pasture meadow area, whatever you want to call it, between up here and up here, this area should have gone with 34 and 35. So in order to make that happen, what I had to do was basically buy everything you see here in green. I had to own all this to sort of make this the way I think it should be. And in order to do that, I had to give myself, now don't get me wrong, back up. Like, the only part of this green that you see here that I bought for like $14 million, the only part of it that I'm actually going to call my own for now is just this area right here. Like, just this little rectangle right here. That's the only part of it that is, quote, mine in the game. All right. Like, all this over here, this stuff down here, that's not mine. Or somebody else owns that. This area down here, somebody else owns that. That's not mine. This is one way that I'm having on this map in particular. It seems kind of strange to me that the author chose to do it this way, and I'm sure he had his reasons. And the precision farming application that Giants released, maybe the reason why. I'm not sure yet. I just thought that was weird, and so you think, okay, well, yeah, just give yourself $14 million or whatever and buy it, and yeah, that'll be cool. No problem. And then you just reset your money back to where you want it to be. You'll be broke, and life's grand. Except that I think every day when I have to pay like my upkeep monies, when every day rolls around to midnight, I think that's going to be hyper inflated because the game thinks I own like 1,000 acres or something, when I actually, and in the game I actually only like own 70. So I think what's going to happen, and I don't know yet because I'm still on the first day in the game. What I think I'm going to have to do is at the end of every day at midnight, after that cycles through, I'm going to have to look and see, okay, how much did I pay? How much should I have paid? And give myself that money back. I know that sounds dumb, but like I said, I think, for my series and the way land kind of works around here, and I'm from Oklahoma. I'm not from this particular area, but I'm not from too far away. This area here should have gone with 34 and 35. Like maybe this tree line right here, over to here and down, that should have been 34. Like this tree line up over to here and all this, that should have gone with 35. That's just me. That's the way I'm going to play it. Okay, so that's the first thing that's kind of thrown me for a loop. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to handle that. Next thing, this precision farming thing. I have never played with it. I know it's been out for like a year, but when it came out was about the time that I was starting my Washita Valley series, and it was kind of too much to process and try to throw in while I was doing everything else. So it's been left out, and I haven't really played the game for fun since I started that series. It's just been about using the game to produce that content, which is one of the reasons why I needed a break from that series to do something a little more hands-on, a little more interactive, a little more, hey, let's just play the game and see if you guys want to ride along with me as I play the game. So I know nothing about precision farming, basically. I know nothing, but I am going to try to implement it, and I am going to try to do it right, like what makes sense in real life. So I'm going to leave that for now until I start using it a little more and I try to figure out more about it. I think it's cool. I think it's a great idea. I'm glad Giants did it. I just don't know how realistic it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be another thorn in my side where I'm saying, that's not realistic. I'm going to have to manually manipulate this to make me feel good about it. Next thing, and one thing I really do like about this map is look at all these sell points. I mean, this is great. There's just a ton of sell points, and some of these I actually I recognize, like this Wheeler Brothers Grain. I recognize that. That's a real thing. Swan Brothers Dairy. I know Swans is a real thing. The Rocky Farmers Cooperative. That's very likely a real thing. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. But anyways, yeah, there's so many different sale points, and it's really neat to see that, because there's going to be a lot of and there's actually sale points for alfalfa. So this is alfalfa, this is alfalfa. That's going to be a corn fodder bale, and that is going to be a soybean fodder bale. So that's cool to see that there's actually individual alfalfa sale points. I like that, because I like having alfalfa in my game, over just the standard grass. So that's neat. I'm excited about that. Okay, equipment. Now this is another thing that kind of sticks in my craw, especially when Giants puts older equipment in the vanilla game, which again, don't get me wrong, I think it's cool. I like it. I like it when they put retro equipment in the game. However, what I don't think is so cool is pretending that retro equipment is new. And so you expect me to pay a new price for a tractor that came out in 1985. That doesn't really make sense because I'm not going to pay new for a 1985 tractor as well as a 2020 tractor. Like, that doesn't make sense. And I know they don't have at this point, and I hope it's something they do get. I know they don't have a used vehicle like algorithm and a way to make that work really yet, like where you can like sell used equipment back to a dealer and somebody else can buy it. Now the Farming Simulator Network has something like that, but that's a whole nother can of worms. So what you can see is here, and if you haven't seen my last video, I go through and I talk about all the equipment that I'm starting the series with, sort of in character. The first video is more in character for the most part of the video. This is sort of an out of character, this is how I'm going to play the game episode. So you can see here, my Traction King tractor, my 4490. You heard me talk about, the transmission is shot in it and it's got a buku hours on it. Well, that's the case here, right? And so therefore it's worth like no money, because in real life, a tractor with almost 10,000 hours with a shot transmission is basically worth scrap price, which is probably pretty close to what this is. So, I mean, that's pretty accurate, right? Same for the 4430. It's got 11,500 hours on it. It runs, but it's clapped out, right? Now this price is actually probably low for a running tractor. It's any running 4430 is going to be worth. It doesn't matter if it's got 20,000 hours. It's going to be worth more than $1,800. So that's probably not very realistic. But if you watch the first video, and of course I encourage you to do that and to like and subscribe and all that other stuff. But if you watch my first video, you'll know that all the equipment that I own was basically ragged out, old, worn out equipment that I was sort of salvaged from my uncle's estate. And so all of this other equipment should be, instead of at 99%, all this stuff should be used. Everything I got is used. So these prices that are displayed over here, that's going to affect my like equipment upkeep and my equipment sort of maintenance charge at the end of the day when that 12 rolls around. I think that maintenance charge is going to be too high, because all this stuff is way more valuable than it should be, if that makes sense. Because in the game, all the equipment is old, it's worn out, and so there's no way that this stuff would be worth as much as it is here. And so I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go in and edit my save game files and make all these prices more realistic to reflect the fact that all this equipment over here is not brand new. It's actually quite old and quite worn out. So yeah, that's another thing that I think I'm going to have to do to keep my cost realistic in game in the beginning. And I may not have to, but I'm thinking that I'm thinking that I may have to do that. So yeah, that's kind of it for the equipment. And a lot of this stuff I'm going to figure out as I go. And I'll update you when I get to it. When I get to that part in the game. The bank, finances today, I did a lot of setup, so like this stuff is all over the place. New vehicles. Look at the vehicles I bought, right? If you saw my first video, you saw the equipment row, you saw the equipment tab a minute ago, if you're familiar at all with any of that equipment, you know that I did not pay. You know, realistically, that's not $400,000 worth of equipment. Okay, it's just not even close, not even close. It's like $50,000 worth of equipment, maybe. Sold vehicles. I bought some stuff, decided, this is not really going to work, so I sold it. So basically, what I'm saying is this today stuff, all this stuff is just, this is garbage. And basically, my actual first day of farming, where I start buying fuel and lime and fertilizer and that kind of stuff, is going to be tomorrow. Because I want to start tomorrow with a clean slate. All right. No loan. That's very important. If you saw the first video, I explained how I don't have a loan, but basically this $19,746 is everything I have to my name. Contracts. Oh, contracts. Giants. You were doing so well. You're doing so well, and yet at the end, you just, for players like me, you just lose it all at the end. It's like the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, and it's a swing and a miss for a strikeout. Like, maybe not quite that bad, but it's pretty bad. And some of you already know where I'm headed with this. I love the contracts. The contracts are amazing. Giants did an amazing job, especially in FS19, and I'm hoping in 2020 it's even better. The contracts are great because I got a tractor, I got a chisel, I got a drill, I got a planter. Let me use that to work for other people and make some money on the side. It's farmers do it. It's a common thing in the United States. Hey, I don't have a roller. Let me see if my neighbor will just do it for me. Just he's already rolling some of his land, and just have him swing by and roll this. Whatever. Oh, I don't. My planter doesn't have trash cleaners, so I can't plant my double crop soybeans into my wheat stubble myself, and I only do like 50 acres. Let me see if my neighbor down the road will do it for me. I mean, the contracts are great. I love these contracts. I love this screen. This is fantastic. What kills me and kills the whole idea of it for me in FS19 is this right here. I want to know the guy. I want to know Paul Gerber, because I absolutely want to go moldboard plow his 32 acres and make $20,000. This is so much money, it's stupid. And again, I know it's a game and everybody wants to feel good about themselves in the game and see how fast they can have 17 new John Deere combines. I know. I get it. But for the handful of guys like me who say, this is silly money, this is monopoly money, this is not real. You cannot give me $20,000 for plowing 32 acres. You just can't. I won't take it. I just won't take it. I like driving tractors for free. I'm not going to take your $20,000 for plowing your 32 acres. Not going to do it. I want to know, like, is there anybody else out there like me? Put your thoughts in the comments, because I would love to know. I know I'm not the only one that thinks that all this stuff that I'm describing, it hurts their minds to think that even in a simulator, somebody would get $20,000 for plowing 32 acres. It's just, it's not right. So this is what I think I'm going to do. I think I am going to use this contract system. I plan to use it because, again, I think it's fabulous. I think it's fantastic because, you can cultivate, you can plow. Here pretty soon we'll be sowing and we'll be planting contracts. We'll have spraying contracts. In the summertime, there'll be baling contracts. It's fabulous. It's amazing. I love it. But what I don't love is this silly, silly money they want to pay us. It's too much money. It takes all the fun out of it. All the fun out of it for me. So what I think I'm going to do is just to make it easy on myself and to still make it kind of worthwhile. When I do a contract, like for example, for this plowing field 11, instead of getting $19,909, what I'm going to do is when this contract is completed, I'm going to take some money away from myself, and what I'm actually going to end up with is 10% of the listed contract price. So instead of getting $19,909, what I'm actually going to do when the contract is finished is I'm going to give myself $1,990, and I'm basically just going to drop that last number, and that's the money that I'll get for it. That's the easiest way. I could sit down and I could figure out how many acres. Okay, this is what Oklahoma State says. For the farm, survey. The farm cost survey. This is what it should cost. To plow an acre of land. I could do that, but I'm trying to keep this fun, and so I think at least in the beginning, for the contracts that I do, I'm just gonna basically give myself 10% of whatever the listed contract price is. So if I start doing contracts and you see funny business going on with my numbers, with my money numbers, that's what I'm doing. And when I start, I'll try to remind you that that's what's going on. Okay, enough about contracts. I love them, but the money's silly. Statistics, that it's statistics, right? And I don't really think there's anything else here that, I'm playing with crop destruction off just because I'm not going to go drive around in a field of standing anything, honestly. And you can easily, depending on what kind of sprayer you have, you can pretty easily spray without damaging a whole lot of crop. So, when it comes time to spray, I may turn it back on. So again, to make it more realistic, but I'm starting it with it off. Periodic plowing, that's going to be on. Lime required, that's going to be on. Weeds are going to be on. I don't intend on using any helpers, so I'm not really going to have to worry about that. Fuel usage is on default. Difficulty is actually normal. I'm going to turn that down to hard right now. Is there super hard? No. I'm going to turn that down to hard right now. Traffic's going to be on, dirt's on. Okay, you get it. This is just, you guys don't really need to know any of this stuff. It's not all. Plain in dollars, miles, and acres, because this is Oklahoma. And that's it. Let me back out of this. We are going to be playing with seasons, so let me go to the seasons menu. Right this moment, I am playing with 6-day seasons. And as the series progresses and I get busier and I start farming more land, I may move this to 9, but I think right now 6 days is going to be plenty. I don't really want to go down to 3 days because I think that's just kind of strange. I mean, that's just not enough time. That's just not enough time. Especially when you want to try to do everything manually. Now, I am probably going to use course play some. I am going to probably use auto drive, maybe some. But for the most part, I'm going to be doing a lot of this. I'm actually going to be hand driving this stuff. So I'm going to need some time. Crop moisture, yep, I'm going to have that on because that needs to be as legit as possible. Snow tracks, I hate snow. And it doesn't snow much in Oklahoma, really. And when it does snow, it's gone in a couple of days. So snow mode's off, snow tracks are off. I hate snow. I don't even like wintertime, so I I want to be reminded of wintertime as least as I possibly can. Okay, so this is just the geo that I'm playing with. The seasons geo that I'm playing with is the one that is the one that's with the Oklahoma 4X map. So there's no other geo that's being used here. We got alfalfa on the bottom. That's the only extra crop that I believe is on the map, which is fine with me. So yeah, that's pretty much just that's pretty much it. We're not going to start out with any animals. I do intend on getting some cattle. It may be a couple of years, in-game years, before I venture into cattle, but I would like to get some beef cattle eventually. So we're going to see where that heads. But for now, there's going to be nothing. Economy stuff. Yep. So, and then we've got our crop rotation planner, and this is something I'm going to do. I'm going to crop rotate. I'm not going to use all the crops because we don't grow sugar beets in Oklahoma. We just don't. So I'm not going to grow them in Oklahoma. Like things like canola, we do grow some canola in Oklahoma. So I'll throw that in once in a while. Contrary to popular belief, we do grow corn in Oklahoma. We grow soybeans. So we're going to be doing some of that, as well as wheat and oats and maybe a little bit of barley. Not a lot of barley is grown in Oklahoma, but we'll grow some just, to kind of mix it up. And that's it, I think. So this has been a longer video than I thought it was going to be, but I thought, well, let's just get it out of the way and let them kind of see where I'm coming from when I start getting crazy in this series, because I'm gonna play. You're gonna see me playing the game a lot, but there's, like I said, there's some things about the base game that I'm just like, this is not real enough for me, and I just can't get over. Some of the stuff. So, folks, thanks for watching. If there's anybody out there that plays the game and has the same problems, like economy problems with it that I have, and you found a mod that changes something, or you found a way, like a workaround that you like, put it down in the comments, because I would really like to know about it. It's been probably a year and a half before I have really got down in this game and played it for the fun of playing it. So I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. FS19 has been out for a long time now, like 4 years, I think. Yeah, probably about 4 years. There's a ton of mods, and a lot of them are great, and a lot of them I don't really think I want to incorporate. So if anybody out there has some suggestions that they want to throw out, put them down in the comments, and I will take a hard look at them and see about incorporating them, because I'm up for it. Especially like the economy mods, the gameplay mods, and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna let you guys go with that. If you made it through the whole video, I applaud you, and thanks for sticking it out with me. I know I probably sounded kind of crazy at sometimes, but I'm very passionate about my my farming simulator, because I love farming in real life. Like I said, I'm not a farmer, but I love agriculture. I love farming, and I want my farming simulator to be as close to real life as I can get it down here in front of my computer in my basement. Thank you for watching. For my longtime subscribers, thanks for sticking it out if you managed to make it to this second video. I know it's different than Washita Valley, but you never know, you might like it. For new folks that are watching for the first time, I promise from now on we're going to be like playing a game and farming. I just wanted to get some housekeeping out of the way ahead of time, so that later on you wouldn't think I'm just cheating. So Like the video if you like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down, I guess, or don't. If the series looks like something you want to get involved with and you want to watch consistently, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And if you do subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you get notified when I release a new video. So thanks again. Let's do this in Oklahoma. See you guys next time.